Well, hello, howdy, and hey there, everybody. It's Ginger Minj with these very fancy eyebrows that I drew on with a pencil I bought for $2 at the Walgreens. Isn't that nice? They almost look real.
They do.
It's the delusion of browness. I'm highbrow right here.
It's a perfect delusion.
And I'm lowbrow over here. They're not sisters. They're not twins. They barely speak.
I'm no brow over here. So.
I like that, though. I think it's nice. Welcome back to Local Queen, the podcast where we celebrate all of our hometown sheroes. I am here in beautiful, exotic Boston, Massachusetts, with the one and the only Severity Stone.
Hello.
Hi. We are coming to you out of drag because we're not in drag today.
And you're not paying us.
No. Well, I mean, maybe you are. I don't know. It's a Cash App, Venmo. Let's go. Whatever you got, we will take it. But I'm very excited to talk to you because we have never met. We literally just met a few moments ago.
It was an absolute pleasure to meet you. I'm a huge fan.
Oh my God. Well, you are tall.
I am a huge fan.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'6".
6'6", flat-footed.
Yeah.
So when you're in drag, are you flat-footed? No. I got those Flintstone feet. I look like I should be running the car.
I have bad feet. I have, with the tallness comes the joint problems and stuff. But yeah, I am 6.5 feet tall. You're like 6'5", right? So we're about.
I'm like 6'5",
okay,
but really 5'3".
Okay, but with a kitten heel, you're 6'5".
With a kitten heel, and if we decide to go like the metric route, then I do believe I am just like half an inch shorter than you.
Yeah, it adds up.
Yeah, it all adds up. What do I know? I was homeschooled. It was fine.
I didn't go to school.
Math is... I was homeschooled, and I still did not graduate at the top of my class.
I graduated with honors, and I still decided to do drag.
Bless you.
I went to art school.
Art school?
Then I dropped out. And then I decided to start doing drag. So,
well, then let's jump into it. I want to know all about you. So please introduce yourself to our listeners, to me, and give me just kind of like a brief overview of who Severity is.
Brief overview. My name is Severity Stone. I've been doing drag and performing and hosting events and such here and around Boston for the past, I would say, almost 11 years. I grew up an artist. I grew up around here. I haven't traveled very far out of New England, quite unfortunately, but money. I grew up creating, drawing, making clothes for Barbies and such, and then it just kind of, I've always made things. I've been a sculptor, I've been a painter, and I did all that. And like I said, I went to art school, Massachusetts College of Art.
Mass art.
Very briefly. And I was happy that I did because it wasn't the right thing for that time. When you're fucking like 19 years old, are we allowed to say?
Yeah, you say whatever the fuck you want.
Right, thank fucking God.
Now you leave him out of it. He has nothing to do with this podcast.
Sorry, God. I don't think he's here. He's not listening. But yeah, I went to art school and I was like, this is dumb. I don't know what to do. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know how to make a career out of art. So I just left. There's nothing wrong with that. Also, I was paying for it myself. By paying for it, I mean I'm still getting student loan bills in the mail, and they can send them to me until the day I die.
Well, I did not go to...
Also, federal loan, I hope you're not watching. I don't exist.
I didn't go to college simply for that reason. Like, I didn't have money, and I knew that I was going to be involved with, like, the arts or theater or something like that. And I was like, well, why am I going to pay money that I don't have, that I'm going to be paying off the rest of my life, so they can teach me things I already know?
Exactly. And they don't set you up to know about that when you're a teenager. You come right out of high school. Like, I'm literally, like, just coming out of being a literal child. And you're like, but now you have to go off and be on your own. And, like, I, had to have a very not wealthy family. So they were like, if you want to go to school, that's on you, boo. And I was like, okay. And I did get, like, some grants and some loans and things. But, like, the thing they don't tell you about loans when you're 19 years old is that you have to pay them back. Like, I knew that, but I was like, don't hand a kid, like, a check for, like, $9,000 and expect them to, like, spend it on
books. Give it back,
or, like, spend it on books. I was like, yeah, I'm buying books. But I don't even remember what I spent it on. But, yeah, it was just, fast forward, that just wasn't the thing for me. I left, started working, doing retail, whatever. And then when I turned 21, I started coming out to the scene. I got introduced to, the drag scene here and all the shows and stuff was going on, and I'd like known about drag, but I was never exposed to it until I was, out in the clubs. So a lot of my friends like, oh, I was coming out to the club when I was 16. I was like, I was in high school. My parents would have like slaughtered me if I snuck out to like get into the back door of a club. I never like thought to do that, but a lot of people did. I was like, how were y'all going to like clubs and shit when you were like 15? But anyway.
I'm going to tell you how I did. Because there was one gay bar in Lake County, and I remember you had to park in the ditch across the street, and you had to run across the highway to get into it because all the rednecks would sit out there in their trucks and throw things at you. So the only way that I could get in, I looked kind of like my cousin Jennifer's boyfriend at the time. I kind of looked enough like him that I was like, if I put on like some makeup and a wig, I can get in, I can pass. So my very first time in the gay bar was for Pimp and Hoe Night, back when that was socially acceptable.
Yeah, okay.
I looked like Carney Wilson on a bender. It was not a good look. But I ran across that street. I went in there, and it was 25-cent pitcher beer night. Like on top of everything.
So this was in like the 1800s.
Yeah, yes. Back, it's been 84 years. So I went in there, and I was like, I feel so free. Everybody is being lovely to me. I look a hot damn mess, but none of them know. It was my little secret.
I mean, that's I totally like can relate to that, because like when everybody first starts doing drag or whatever, like you swear to God that you're like everything.
Yeah.
But if you walk into like any place with that kind of attitude, like that's how you do get into a bar underage. Like if you walk in drag if you said you have a bag and someone with you, like, oh, we're fine. But 99% of the time, like, they won't say anything.
No, they're like, oh, girl, you're late for the show. Come on.
It's like, oh, yeah, they'll just let you into, like, the Met Gala. Like, oh, my friend's over there. Like, I'm sorry, I'm late. They're like, go in, I guess.
Your outfit's not terrible enough. Quick, go change over there. Oh, the Met Gala. I feel like just to sidetrack real quick, what are your thoughts on the looks at the Met Gala for the last couple of years?
I mean, as a costume maker and drag entertainer who wears costumes all the time, like, most of it is, like, not really that impressive to me, because it's just, I think it's cool to see, like, oh my God, what is Rihanna wearing? And like
she always turns it. Now, Rihanna turns it all the time.
Because she's perfect.
I thought that Billie Eilish looked really gorgeous.
This past one, yeah.
But I also didn't quite understand how that look fit the theme, or what the theme was really supposed to encompass.
Yeah, I didn't understand the theme as well. It was like American fashion. So I was like, clothes?
Right?
Everyone just kind of interpreted their own way. Actually,
sponsored by American Eagle.
This is, pretty much. Also, your computer's about to die.
Oh, I had it plugged in. Is this not working?
We're just too much. I think that outlet's not working. But yeah, I did Kim Kardashian's iconic Dementor nightmare look like 2 days after the Met Gala at Legacy.
Did you?
Yeah, I was like in a sewing mood. I was like, we're coming out as like Kim Kardashian Dementor, so I like made the ponytail. And I went to Legacy.
But I've noticed, like, now they're starting to invite the queens into that world. And typically I feel like even the queens are kind of missing the mark, because I feel like they're a little too afraid to do what they do. Because, like we're used to drag. We're used to putting on every rhinestone and feather and sequin.
Like camp, like that's what we wake up every day and do.
Yeah.
So it's like these people who are you put in the situation where you're expected to bring it to a next level, but sometimes that next level looks not organic.
Yeah.
Yeah, does that make sense? Like,
it does. It makes complete sense.
Force. I'm like, I'm not believing that this person is really invested in wearing this insane outfit. I'm not going to mention anybody, but like, there's certain ones where it's like, why?
I feel like the I wouldn't say regular, but the non-drag guests that go, they think they're being very edgy by wearing certain things, and then the queens show up and they don't want to stand out too much, I guess, so they kind of dumb it down a little bit. So it's just like this consistent mediocrity across the board, and that's not for everybody. I'm not saying everybody was mediocre or that I could do any better. I'm just saying that I think from now on they really need to pump that shit up.
Yeah.
And if any of you other queens get invited,
like tickets are like $30,000 fucking dollars. Right. Like go there with the outfit, like
go on stilts. They need to invite Ivy Winters. Do you? How did? Well, where would you fit?
It's outside. The Met Gala's outside.
Okay. But why do you?
I actually performed because I knew that you were coming. No, a couple months ago I performed with them actually at Legacy. They're like painters, like drywall, so it's about 18 inches. So they're not like circus,
like cray.
Like I could be in the club. But yeah, I just wanted them for a really long time. And yeah, I thought if I was ever to be at the Met Gala, I would show up and get out of like a stretch fucking Hummer or something and be like 9 feet tall.
Why not?
Why the fuck not?
I think that'd be great. So this is not a podcast. This is a petition and a call to action to get Severity Stone invited to the Met Gala next year.
And you
and me. Well, I'm too tall.
But I need you to be in flats.
In flats, and then I just come out from underneath.
Out of one of my
your hand like this?
You can, yeah. I'll have a really long arm to it. I'll just reach down and hold your hand.
But just one. Make sure the other one's all the way up like that. So I know we're getting sidetracked a little bit, but enjoy that. That's fine.
It's funny.
A little tidbit, you know. I want to know. So how long have you been doing drag? You said about 11 years.
Approaching 11, yeah.
And how did you get started?
I don't know. I just did. I mean, yeah, like I said, like I went to school, I just started working, and then when I turned 21, that's where we were at earlier. I just started coming out, and like I was dating someone at the time, and they introduced me into like local bars and stuff around here, and I experienced drag. I got to see people like Misery and Fina Barbital, you might know.
Absolutely. I love Misery too. I mean, I love Fina, absolutely, but Misery, pageant girl, so sickening, so talented,
incredible. And I was hearing stories of Misery before I was even like out of the club. Like my boyfriend at the time, like who was a couple years older, knew of Misery and was like, "Oh, don't fuck with her. Like she's a bad bitch." And I was like, I'm like 17. I have no idea what you're talking about. But then I met her. I was like, "Oh, she's a bad bitch." And like, yeah, she has such a legacy behind her, and like, you know, all that, you know, the Destinies and the Chris Knievels and stuff. And I was just started coming out to Jacques Cabaret, which is right around the corner from where we are.
Which is where Katya really got her start.
And coming out to see Perestroika with Katya and all of them. That was my introduction, and I was just enthralled by the artistry of it.
And what made you go, "Oh, this is my world. This is what I want to do"?
Well, I wasn't sure that I knew it was what I wanted to do. I just tried it. Like I kind of like stuck my fingers in the pot or whatever.
Did you wait until Halloween? Because that's when most drag babies are born.
I think that might have been the first time that I did like drag. I mean, I don't know if you can tell from me. I'm kind of into Halloween and horror and stuff. I know. My fingernails glow in the dark.
Well, it's easier to find them that way.
You know? God knows where my hands have been. You gotta, you know. Anyway. Yeah. I was Halloween was probably the first time. And I've always loved Halloween. I've always liked, like I said, like fashion and dressing up and making things and expressing myself through the way I look. Like before I started doing drag, I would come out like as a boy. And I would this is like 2011, 2010s, like when Lady Gaga, like the spiked shoulders and stuff. And I would make these jackets and like glasses with chains on them and stuff. And I would just go out to the club and like be a faggot.
So Lady Gaga was your gateway drag? Sort of.
Yeah, she was one of my biggest inspirations to like push it there. And then I took it to, you know, the drag aspect. And I just kind of rolled with it. And then opportunities came and I kept growing and
What was your first drag performance?
Well, that I can remember. This is where we pull up a picture of it. It's my first profile picture on Facebook. If anybody wants to look at it, Lady Gaga. So Happy I Could Die. I was living with my mom at the time in Somerville, Massachusetts, which isn't far from here. I borrowed my sister's dress. My sister is a couple years younger than me, but like I borrowed like her dress. I didn't have a cinch or anything, so I duct taped my body. I think I had like a shitty bra and I stuffed socks into it. And I made this like jacket thing with like poofy shoulders. And it was like an amateur competition thing at Machine Nightclub, RIP, which is like defunct. Very sad. But and I just did it. And I think from that point, like stepping on that stage, there was no looking back.
Do you remember what the number was?
It was Gaga. So happy I could.
Oh, so happy I could die. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we spoke about this.
Yeah.
I just thought you were saying you were just so happy.
I also was so happy I could die.
And did you win?
I did not.
No.
But, you know, it didn't hurt my spirit.
Hey, losing is the new winning.
It was an opportunity, and like there were so many more, not enough, but there were still more opportunities nowadays for younger, newer performers as compared to even then, which wasn't like that long ago. You know, it was like you had to like really like stick your neck out and like be friends with people to like get opportunities like that. So I was very grateful for that and to make the friends that I did. And and then things just kind of.
I remember when I started doing drag, so I've been doing it 16 years now. And when I first started, it was before Drag Race. Mm-hmm. So my whole like knowledge of drag was the Southern pageant scene. My drag mother like threw me into that world. I was not ready, but you only want to be embarrassed so many times. You know? So it it's like boot camp. It forces you to get better and better and better. And so it was my drag was very structured. And I don't necessarily remember what my very first performance in a club was. My first performance in drag was actually in a play. That was how I got started. I got into it through theater. But anyway, that's not even it's a pointless story. I was just telling you.
I want to hear it.
Oh, well, so I got cast in this play. It's called Boys, Boys, Boys. And it was an original play that was based on some true events of some nightclub in New York in the 70s. And they wanted 8 men that would go like full frontal nude and 2 drag queens. And I had never done drag before, but I was like, I do not want to get naked in front of everybody because I know my mama and my grandma are going to come see the show. So I borrowed my sister's dress and I borrowed a wig from my grandmother and I stopped at Big Lots and got like the worst makeup ever and just kind of slapped it on and went and I got the role and it just, I kind of took to it like a fish to water, you know. It was just it
so
felt
kind
like
of the same.
Yeah, it's like
that's what I did. Yeah,
it's so scary when you like right before you take the step out on stage, and then you take the step out and you're like
something
in this
changes,
whole new world.
I'm like, oh, let's like now I get it, even though like you still don't get it because you just started. And I always tell people like every single day, every single time that I'm in drag, I learn something new, and I'm never like, and I hate when people kind of just like stop learning. Like when people like, oh, I do this and like that's it. Like I don't want to learn new things. I don't want to accept new things about drag. You should always be learning and always growing, and like it's okay to like, I look back at my makeup from 3 months ago and I'm like, why did I do my eyebrows like that? But it's okay because at that time that made sense to me, and like you just keep trying new things and like I'm not coming for you. I still have none. I have essence of eyebrows. It's like the shadow of that.
Ode to brow.
Ode to brow. But yeah, I learned like so much over the years, and also I want to stress like very hard how much I learned that because I heard you mention earlier something about people using the term female impersonator. I do think that is like such like a tired, stupid thing to even say about drag. If that's what you do, then that's what you do. But that's just like a
just to catch everybody archaic. Up. Before we started recording the podcast, we were scrolling through Facebook, my husband and I, and we saw an announcement for a pageant that's coming up, and it's like da 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 FI, which stands for female impersonator. So it's like female impersonator of the year. But the pageant is open to everybody. There's been a lot of trans winners of that particular pageant. So we were just talking about how archaic that term really is, because I mean we've made a lot of progress with the whole gender spectrum and all that kind of stuff. You know, I myself identify as non-binary. So it doesn't offend me as a term, but I do think it sounds a little outdated.
Yeah, and I felt that way about that term for a while. And so I overheard what you were talking about. I was in the bathroom douching. And but giggle, I had to get a laugh out of it. Like that's the way that I was introduced to drag. You know, I love the people that introduced me to drag, but it was very much that. It was like, we dress up as Lady Gaga. We're gay men who dress up in women's clothes, and that's what drag is. That was my introduction to it. But I learned as quickly as I possibly could that it was not that. And like now, like my eyes are so open to the endless possibilities of drag, and that it's literally for anybody and everybody. Like, regardless of your shape or your color or your gender or your identity, like drag is for everybody. Point blank, period. That is not open for discussion, like or debate. I have a lot of incredible friends who have shown me and taught me so many amazing things about their drag and how they interpret it. And I honestly, like, I do, like, out of drag, like, I identify as kind of like gender queer, like, just in between. Like, I don't, like, love being a man because men, like, suck. Like, I don't like identifying with, like, cisgendered men. So I'm, like, somewhere in that realm of things. And my drag too, I also, like, I'm not trying to be a woman, quote unquote. I like to feminize myself because it makes me feel
Before you move on, I want to ask you, what is your definition of drag? Just in general.
My definition of drag? I think it's just queer people wearing what they like.
And queer, I say this in all of my shows.
Or straight people too.
Well, I think everybody is queer because queer means weird. It means different.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you're not queer at least a little bit, you're doing something wrong. Because everybody should be individual and everybody should express exactly how they feel on the inside, on the outside, you know? And to me, my definition of drag has always been, it's like a celebration of femininity. And I think that anybody is capable of that.
Well, for a drag queen, but also, you know, drag kings is a celebration of masculinity or, you know, the things that are in between. Absolutely.
No, you're absolutely right about that. So I have been checked and corrected. But I love that. See, that's why we have these discussions, you know? So you were talking about how, you know, you look back and you're like, I'm always learning. And when you first started, what kind of a narrow view of drag you had was? Just like because it was only what you were. Yeah, it's what you were exposed to.
Yeah.
Me was the Southern pageant drag. And it wasn't until I got onto Drag Race and started touring around the world that I realized, like, my eyes opened up to all of the possibilities of drag. And I find myself now, that's one reason I really wanted to do this podcast, is because to me, drag is such a regional sport and it changes everywhere you go.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
There's a different vibe. There's different techniques. There's this whole different feel.
The vibe especially. Like, I haven't gone to many places, but like, I would tell you, like, I went to Chicago where you just came from, and it was just, the only thing similar to Boston is that it's a big city, but like the vibe was different. The energy was different. Honestly, I want Boston to be more like that, but we don't have as many like venues and stuff. But like, I'm sure you like probably went to like Boys Town and stuff. And like my experience there was like so remarkable and memorable. And it was unlike anything I'd experienced before. And I was so welcomed as an outsider. Like, I've literally never been here before, but like, you know, everything was just so different, but also, you know, welcoming and familiar at the same time.
But I find myself now traveling around to all these places, and I'm sitting with the girls in the dressing room going like, oh, what are you doing right there? And then I try it, and sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Yeah. But I'm always learning something new. And it's strange because, like, even now, you know, All-Star 6 just ended, but we filmed it a year ago, and my entire face has changed since then, just because I found different things that I like to do. That's the fun of drag. It's just expressing and learning and having fun with it.
And the new thing that you decided to do was those eyebrows?
This one. I don't like her. I like her.
I'm kidding. I had to bring it back around. But yeah, you know, we can always learn, and you know, you've traveled the world and done like incredible things. I haven't quite gotten there yet, but someday, you know, I would hope to. But yeah, if I can give, when you say like what drag means to me, it means a queer expression of art in exploring gender and exploring things inside of yourself that you probably knew were always there, but you never knew how to do it. And there's no right or wrong way to do drag.
No.
Like, you may not look great, but you'll get there. You know, everybody.
Well, but even then, like, looks are so subjective too.
Exactly.
Like, to the mass majority, you may not look great, but you're going to have a handful of people that are like, I've never seen anyone more attractive in my life than you are in this moment.
It doesn't matter what you look like. Someone in the world will be horny for you.
Exactly. So let's talk about drag a little bit more, and particularly your drag. So did you ever do any pageants?
I did, actually.
Yeah?
I competed in the Miss Boston Pride pageant.
Ooh.
Probably like halfway into my career, as we call it. There was like 5 contestants, and I think I got 4th place. But then by default, like someone dropped out and like another person like died in an airplane crash. No, they didn't. They didn't.
I was like, where are they traveling from?
I ended up with some sort of a crown like later on down the line, only because like people had dropped out and like somebody moved.
Somebody
away.
got pregnant.
Somebody moved away. And they were like, fine, we'll give it to Severity. But I also did the Miss what was it called? Not Miss. Scream Queen.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Salem. 2014.
I just went to Salem.
It was
for the first
hosted
time.
by I don't even want to say her name because she sucks. The spooky one with the contacts. Yeah, I got her title. Yeah, so I competed against a bunch of other local like New England performers, and it was like a big Halloween pageant. That was like my big like, oh my god, I won something, you know.
I love that though, because to me, like everything needs a theme. Everything can really like do better with a theme.
Yeah.
Benefit. That's what everything benefits from a theme.
Exactly. And if the theme is something that I just do naturally, I'm like, okay, let's do it. And yeah, that was like kind of, yeah, I'd say, 5, 6, well, wait, what did I say? 2014? So that was 7 years ago. Yeah. I was still kind of new to things and like getting my bearings, but like I was like, oh, this is something that I'm like really excited about. And it was crazy. It was at this the Revere Hotel, I believe it was called, in Salem, Massachusetts. And yeah, it was, all my friends like Violencia and Rainbow Fright, Fina Barbital was there. No one was happy that I won.
That's how you know you're doing something right.
That's what I knew. I feel like that's what I knew. I was like, everyone was like visibly pissed that like I won because like they thought for some like, no tea, no shade, but like yeah, people were like shady and bitchy about it because they're like, oh, I've been doing drag for so long. Like, why didn't I win? I was like, because you didn't.
Exactly. There's really no other reason in the world. People have asked me that. Well, why didn't you win? Because I didn't.
Because I didn't.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't. And that, even just winning that, like, if I hadn't, it still would have mattered so much to me just to be there and to have that experience. And it's a big, crowded place, and I had never performed. We had, like, different categories that we had to do. We had to do, like, 3 different costumes. And, like, yeah, that was, like, one of the pinnacles of my drag career.
What were your categories? Did you have, like, did you have a talent category?
I don't have any talent. No, I think, wait, what was it? There was, like, a presentation. We had to do, like, a runway. It was American Horror Story, like, Freak Show theme. It was, like, when Freak Show came out, right? So, I did, like, the guy with a face on the back of his head. So I like made a mask of my face, and it was like on the back of my head, and had this costume that went with it. There was a performance, and then there was like where you just did a number, and then like the judges watched you, and it went like one by one, and they watched everybody. And then the last one, I think we just did like another runway. I don't remember what I wore.
Did you like an evening gown?
No, it was all like
coffin couture.
Girl, I told you it was in Salem and it was on Halloween. So
I literally just went to Salem for the first time a couple weeks ago.
It's cute.
I wanted to go look at all the Hocus Pocus places.
Which is just everything there.
Which is everything. But I also found myself going, okay, now that movie makes no logistical sense to me. Period. Because that's supposed to be across the street, but that's on the other side of town. This is supposed to be on the other side of town, but it's literally across the street.
Yeah. Well, but Hollywood.
It was Hollywood.
Yeah. No, baby. Salem is amazing. Don't go there anywhere near Halloween because it's just like tourist hell.
And a bunch of drag queens dressed like the Sanderson sisters.
Everyone that you've ever seen, they're all there, just running through the streets with brooms, like sweeping up dust and shit. I'm like, no.
We went to the Salem Witch Museum, which turns out is not a museum at all.
It's just like a haunted house.
It's with the wax
figures.
It's the wax figure diorama.
I went to that when I was like fucking like 7 years old, and it like kind of terrified me.
Well,
like,
yeah, they got Satan over in the corner with his glowing eyes.
And I'm wondering, like, do they still have like the same wax figures? Like, that shit like terrorized me.
I'm gonna tell you, they
School field trip. I was like a child, and they brought me to the fucking Salem Witch Museum, and I was like, this is fucked. I think that's why I turned out like this.
Because of the Salem Witch Museum.
I went to the Salem, and they're like, this woman's being crushed by a pile of rocks. And it's like the sound, the voiceover, and it's pitch dark. You're like sitting on the floor, and there's like a woman screaming, and it's like a dire. I'm like, okay.
And then a pentagram just totally lights up in the middle of the floor where you're sitting. It's like, oh, no.
All of a sudden, I like blinked, and I had white contacts in it. I was like, I guess I'm spooky now.
This is it.
This
is my path.
This is me.
The one thing that I did love is that, anybody who knows me knows I'm a huge Wizard of Oz freak. And they have an original first edition copy of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz there. And it's like the one artifact that they have. But it is under glass and they wouldn't let me touch it.
Well, we can always break in.
Okay.
We
can just stand there like this.
I look kind of waxy sometimes.
I do. Well, I do today because I have this like this moisturizer on. I think I just wiped away part of my eyebrow.
Well,
I'm gonna be back to nubs by the time we're done with it.
We're gonna take another 45-minute break. We'll be back.
So you won that pageant.
Yeah.
And it really just kind of like reaffirmed for you that you were doing the right thing. You were finally making your mark.
Yeah. And then, things over the years just kept happening. I've always been just like the local performer. Like I've hosted. I have to emphasize Machine nightclub. That was like a really huge hit for us right before COVID started. Having very little to do with COVID, this huge nightclub that we all used to work at called Machine got closed and is like demolished, like no longer there. So it's a very, very sad thing. That was like my home away from home, as was for a lot of people. And it was a long time coming, rent is expensive.
Dealt with that
the owners
in Orlando. Parliament House got knocked down, and it was an institution. And I mean, it's still weird to drive by this plot of land where you spent so much time.
It's haunting.
Yeah. First of all, it's weird because it's such a tiny plot of land, but it was such a huge, expansive like building.
Yeah, when you see it like not there, it's like jarring because this is like right in the middle of the city. So it's like, imagine if that building across the street was just like gone, and you're like, and I keep thinking in my head for so long, even I knew it was gone. It took a long time for me to even like go past it. I was like, I feel like I keep thinking about being there, and I keep remembering like I could walk around that place with my eyes closed, like. But yeah, where was I going with that?
Oh, we were just talking about life in general. No, so you said that you started. You really got like
your
footing at Machine.
I started performing a lot of Machine, and I started hosting things here and there. I was doing karaoke, and then we started doing these Halloween events, which we're doing another one coming up on the 22nd. I used to host a party called Slasher Bash. It was like a horror themed, like pre-Halloween party. Or if it landed on Halloween, it would be Halloween. But yeah, and I kind of like, I don't like to typecast myself, and people always call me like ooky, spooky, scary, but like I am, but like also like a bit more than that.
Yeah,
I like horror. I like goth fashion and culture and stuff, and I don't really identify with being like a Halloween decoration.
Yeah,
so people say like, "Oh, you're so ooky and kooky." Like whenever someone fucking introduces me on the mic, like she's tall. That's the first thing people say. She's ooky and she's kooky and she's spooky. Give it up for.
And she's all the way from backstage.
Yeah, she's all the way from backstage. And then they say Severity Stone. And I'm like, none of that was right.
But that could be your alter ego. Whenever you don't want to do the ooky spooky, you can dress like a Christmas tree angel. And be Serenity.
I actually did get dressed up as a Christmas tree at Machine one time.
Did you? As a Christmas tree?
I was dressed by other people as a Christmas tree. They like pulled me up on stage and put a tree costume on me and like draped because I was the tallest person. It was like hilarious, I guess, but also like very humiliating.
Like they always make me get up and dance an Irish jig on St. Patrick's Day.
Basically the equivalent of that.
Yeah,
like,
I'm always the leprechaun.
Here, and like put me up on stage and put this costume on me, and then like Rainbow Fright, Fina Barbertall, and like whoever else was there just draped. Raquel Blake who's in Dallas now, like draped a bunch of fucking Christmas lights and shit all around my body. That was like almost very triggering. Like, oh, Christmas tree. Let me tell you about a Christmas tree.
Oh, goodness. Do you know Severity Stone is actually the name of it's a massage parlor in Orlando.
Well, I'm taking them to court.
You should.
Well, you should take them to court. Be like, I know someone who I think is named Serenity Stone.
I said it one time, damn it.
I know.
I'm not even the one drinking.
Listen.
She's gone off to the bar. Black cat.
Yeah. Well, you know Spanish?
Just a little bit. I'm a Puerto Rican. Jiggly calls me her quarter porter with cheese.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna.
That's gorgeous.
I'm not gonna address that.
No reason to. Jiggly's problematic. That's what we're getting at.
As long as everyone knows that I'm not.
No, not what? Problematic.
Jiggly.
Oh, you're not jiggly. No, you're not. You're pretty toned. I like it.
Toned?
Well, compared to me. No, I know the act we need to do together. We need to do twins. I'll be Danny DeVito and you be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What did you just call me?
Arnold.
What was the last name?
Hey, Arnold. Schwarzenegger.
It's worse when you say it slower.
Nah, yes, it's
cool.
N-E.
So your career is over.
No. How dare!
I'm kidding, just to disclaim. Yeah, it's the last name. I'm not going to say because I don't know how to say that properly. Yeah, that would be fun. I would have to.
Well, if you were him, you'd be like Schwarzenegger.
But I'm not like buff. I would be like Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, why not? I love when people, when I was growing up, they'd be like, "Is he, like, affected by carpal tunnel? Yeah.
Does he have osteoporosis? Like, what do you mean by that?
Osteoporosis. Yes. Okay. We're getting sidetracked, but that's what we do. I mean, we're 4 episodes in. You should know by now. We just talk about shit.
So wait, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Who else have you talked to on this show, and what have y'all talked about?
So the very first episode was my best friend Gidget Galore from Orlando. We've been working together for years. We co-host a lot of events together. She's like a nice version of me.
Okay.
She can do everything I can do, but she does it with a smile. And my second episode was Stacey Starstruck from Seattle. Okay. Who I went to Disneyland with one day. Never worked with her in drag until this past week, or a couple weeks ago at this point. And then my last episode was with Caramel DeVille, who is a bearded queen in Chicago. It's been really good. It's been very diverse and really fun.
I do not personally know any of those people, but yeah, I appreciate that you're doing what you're doing. And also that ties into what I also want to ask, like what is it okay if I ask you questions? Yeah. What made you decide to do this? Like why is it important to you? Why did you choose to talk to me? Like why do you want to talk to and showcase local performers? Because when I am at home, I know the answer. But when I'm at home, I am a local queen. Mm-hmm. And we all are local queen. I mean, like, honestly, the drag race thing is nice. The traveling is nice. That's all well and good. But before drag race and after drag race, we all have a home. We all have a home base. We all have, the communities that surround us and support us. And having been able to be blessed to travel around and meet incredible girls, like I was telling you, it's like drag is such a local sport, you know what I mean? Like regional sport. Regional, yeah. It's been really fun to see just how the communities rally around their girls and what those girls do with the platform they've been given. So I feel like it would be shameful of me not to use the platform that I have to kind of lift up your voices and let the world get to know all of you. Well, thank you, and I appreciate that. I'm actually very, very honored to be a part of what you're doing, and I'm sure whoever's listening to this at home, all my friends and stuff, hi, sorry you didn't get the gig, I got it. I'm sure they'll be very grateful to hear what you have to say, and this is very important to us to get that recognition, and because you do have a really huge platform. And it's really cool. So I just wanted to thank you.
I have to tell you, when I was waking up, when I was growing up, I am so tongue-tied today. I think it's because you're so tall.
I'm sitting down.
Me too. I'm standing up.
She's standing on the bed.
On a box, yeah. When I was growing up, I really wanted to be famous or successful. I didn't even know what that meant, but
As we all do.
I didn't have people when I was growing up that like supported me in doing that. So I felt like fame and success was something that you worked for yourself and it was solely yours. And then once I started to achieve those things and like take those steps to do that, I realized that it wasn't about me. I was literally just kind of a vessel and a tool to tell other people's stories. And that's like the best thing about being in the position that I am is that I do have a platform where I am able to affect change. I am able to uplift other people's voices and make them heard. And I think that that's really like the best part of this job. Absolutely. And it's been so cool, like just going from drag scene to drag scene and learning about it.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the drag scene here in beautiful, gorgeous Boston, Massachusetts.
It sucks. Next question. No, I'm kidding. The scene here is incredible. I wouldn't be anything without it. I also hate like the word like scene. Like it's kind of there are like how do this? There are like different segments of said scene where like certain people do certain things, and like my group of people, my friends, my brethren, my siblings are incredible, and there's such an immense, incredible sense of family and also perseverance because of all the things that have been taken away from us, losing all these clubs and with COVID and everything, and how hard it is to just get your footing here. Yeah, I respect and love everybody for that, first and foremost. And also, like, I feel like the Boston drag scene that I know is very, like, Island of the Misfit Toys. Like, everybody comes from something different. Everyone comes from, like, a different walk of life, a different story, a different type of drag. But we all kind of, like, meet in the middle. Like, oh, you're into like weird shit too, me too, and like and then I immediately like click with somebody, know, and that's how I've like made all the friends that I have, and I'm very happy for that. But yeah, we do the best we can. We put on amazing shows, but yeah, it's not that I've seen every other drag scene in the world, but I will guarantee you that what's going on in Boston, as much as people talk shit, like a lot of people like live in Boston, they move to New York, and they're like, fuck Boston, that city sucks. And I'm like, yeah, of course it sucks. Every city sucks. But
when you spend enough time anywhere,
we don't, and I always take like offense to that when people are like, the Boston scene is stupid. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry you could afford to move to New York. Good luck getting a gig, girl. But like, things are much smaller and more realistic here. And I'm happy to be a part of what's going on here. And
so do you think that the different sections of the drag scene here in Boston, are they kind of segregated? So you've got like your group and then this group and then that group?
I mean, sometimes a little bit, and like we intertwine. Basically, there's like certain people who work at this place who don't necessarily come to the things that we're doing, or vice versa, or there's people who do that brunch at that place, but they don't, get involved in this. Like, ideally, it would be lovely if we could all work together, but and everybody always preaches that, like, sense of community. Like, we're all part of this, pride. Everybody gets drunk and we go out in the streets and we're like, we're all together. I'm like, girl, we all hate each other.
But that's how you truly love each other.
Yeah, like let's be real. Like, we don't hang out. Like, there's like those certain people. Like, oh my god, I always love seeing you. Like, you're such an amazing performer. I'm like, you've not been to any of my shows.
Any of them? No, but I stalk you on Facebook.
Yeah, they stalk the shit out of me on Facebook, and like that's all that matters to me. I'm like, girl, whatever, as long as I get the one follow. But
when I first started, Orlando was very like different sectors for every type of performer.
Mm.
If you were a Broadway comedy kind of girl, you did this and this alone. If you were a trans woman, you did this. If you were this an ookie spooky queen, you went over to this club and you did that. And there wasn't a whole lot of crossover. And I would say it was probably after Pulse happened where I will say the community did a 180 and everybody came together, and now everybody's working with everybody else. It's really cool to see.
Yeah. I do want to like elaborate a little. Like, I don't want to say fully that we're like segregated here. There is a sense of community. I just wish that there was more of a sense of community. Like, the people that I have and the people that I love know exactly who they are, and we have each other's backs. But I wish that people, you know, of positions, of platforms and things had our backs more often than they did. You know, during the pandemic and stuff and all the things that have been going on, it took so long for us to, or for me, for anybody to get their footing again, and, you know, get bookings and stuff. And, you know, this is my livelihood, this is my job. So it's like, it be hard sometimes.
Yeah.
But
so
long story short, I am very, very happy and very, very proud of my Boston drag family. And if anyone is listening who has never been to Boston, I encourage you to come and experience.
I encourage you to come wherever you are.
Come wherever
Everywhere.
you want.
Everywhere.
Come on my face.
Okay, don't come on my face because it will totally take off the rest of this eyebrow. So, it does kind of look like a sperm now.
Oh my God.
Ooh, there we go. So I know we only have a couple minutes left, but I wanted to ask you a couple of questions.
Okay, go ahead. Spitfire.
What is your definition of a local queen?
Someone who hasn't had the opportunities to like be on TV, I guess. No, that's not. A local queen is someone, or our king, or anybody. Drag. I'd like to say local drag performer because not everybody's a queen. Someone from any town who is just doing drag on I get paid maybe a 3-digit amount of money kind of basis. Where we've all started. As you've started, every single person that y'all have seen on TV started out as a local drag artist.
And I'm telling you, most of us, when we're home, we're still local. I'm still
like, we don't give a fuck.
I'm rolling up to Hamburger Mary's for $50 and a cheeseburger.
There you go, and that's okay sometimes. But like, you know, definition of it just means you're from around here. But also there could be people from, you know, out of state who come here who are also local entertainers. Local just means on the tier of like working class, I guess, basically.
Oh, that's interesting.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Like working class drag performers, as opposed to like, I've been on TV and I'm traveling the world and I'm kind of, you know. It's
like being like a Michelin star award-winning chef, but you're not Gordon Ramsay. You're still incredible at your craft and well-respected. Yes. And you work a lot, but you just haven't had like your own TV show or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. I think that's actually, that's the first time I've gotten an answer like that. And I really like that. I think that's great. Next question. What was your worst performance ever?
I don't know. I don't have anything that jumps out to me that like, God, I wish I didn't do that. I enjoy alcoholic beverages from time to time. So I'm sure that in, you know, I'm 33 years old for anybody listening. In my younger years, I may have done some things that were really sloppy. I don't think I've ever done anything that I was like, oh my God, like I want to die. Like that was the worst thing I've ever done. I just kind of walk, like the same way we were talking about how you go onto the stage, you become something else. When I walk away from it, I like almost forget like what happened, like drunk or not. Like I just, like whatever happened. I can't change it.
Well, that's kind of the beauty of live art too. Like this is why I loved theater when I was growing up. It was like, it just happens in that moment.
Yeah. And whatever happens in those 3.5 to 4 minutes happens. Yeah, I don't have like a thing that jumps out to me. It's like, oh my God.
Did you never fall on your face?
Oh, of course I've fallen. Of course I've fallen. I'm 6.5 feet tall, alcohol consumption, 6-inch heels, dark nightclub. Of course I've fallen. But you know, Yeah.
Sometimes it's fun.
It is kind of fun.
Yeah.
If you own it and,
It's easy for me to fall because I don't have, like, a long way to go.
Yeah, you're pretty much sitting on the ground when you're standing up.
Yeah. Yeah. And then my next question is, what is the best performance you've ever given?
That's also really hard to answer. But I will tell you one of the proudest moments that I had. I'm not sure it was the best performance. I got to open up for King Princess, who's an amazing queer pop artist. A couple years ago, somebody reached out to me in an email. You should look her up, by the way. She's amazing. At Royale, so down next door to where we are right now.
Down the service
sold
elevator.
out show to teenagers, and they're like, we want a drag person to open the show and do 2 numbers. And it was probably one of the craziest things I ever did. I was like, I want to make it clear to you, first of all, I'm not a musician. Because they were like, how long is your set? And I was like, whenever people say
is that always fun?
Set, I'm like, how long is my giggity mega mix? It's 5.5 minutes. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, that was one of the most sickening feelings that I had. And just coming out on stage to literally an audience of
screaming, ready.
Yeah.
Just
and
ready
I was
to love you.
And they gave me the mic and I was emceeing and I was like, y'all having a good fucking time. All the stupid things that we say.
And they're like, yes, we're 16.
Yes, we're 16. We're screaming and crying right now. And I was like, this isn't real. This doesn't seem real to me.
Those moments are so...
They
make everything else worth it. Yeah.
Those
moments are incredible.
Other things sprinkled out in between, but yeah, that was one of the... Yeah, I don't even remember what I did. I had a reveal. I had these... It was during Pride time, so I think I had braids that I made, that were rainbow colored. And whatever I did, I don't know. But whatever I did on the stage, they would cheer. I would kick my foot up a little bit, and they're like, yes, go off, bitch!
Those are my favorite times.
You can be like...
All you have to do is catch a beat now and again, give them a little hip and then a twirl. And
they start throwing up. But yeah, it was fucking nuts. And yeah, I cried backstage because I couldn't even take it.
Those moments that make you feel like not only a superstar, but it makes you feel like your art is actually reaching somebody and affecting them in a positive way. That's what really makes it worthwhile.
Yeah, it really does. It is the biggest. That's, if I leave you with anything, that is the most important thing to me. Well,
this is my last question then.
Let's go.
What would your advice be to anybody out there who is a local queen or is looking to become a local queen?
If you would like to do it, I encourage you to do it. Don't hold yourself to anyone else's standards. Don't compare yourself to other people and try to be, if you want to do drag, do it for you and do it if it makes you happy. Don't use it as a beacon to just get attention or, because you think that you have to. What was I going to say with the last question? I had something. Oh, I was saying the most important thing to me is letting people know that my drag is an example, and to let people know that, people come to me, I wish I could do what you do. I wish I could be a part of this. And I'm like, I'm here to let you know that you can. And, if you're a little tiny baby queer person somewhere out there and you feel weird about dressing up, you don't want to wear dresses because you don't want to be made fun of or this, that, the other thing. What I do is all encompassing of the statement of you can do it. You can do it. And I encourage you to do it and be yourself.
Yeah.
As cheesy and silly as that might sound,
it's
be yourself,
not.
Believe in yourself. And yeah, let your fucking queer little flag fly.
Yes. You get a gay goat from that. Yes. I love that. All right. So it's been so much fun talking to you. The really cool thing about this is the last couple that I've done, I'm literally just meeting you for the first time. So it's a real conversation.
Yeah.
And it's so fun for me
this
to
is
get
not
to.
rehearsed.
No, I mean, it's just so much fun for me to get to know you with all of these people who, have supported me that are now going to support you, where can they find you to support you?
Well, I live in the basement of this hotel. I clean the floors. No, I'm kidding. You can find me on Instagram or Venmo, wink, wink, at Severity_Stone. I will be performing with Ginger Minj tomorrow at Legacy Nightclub, which by the time this comes out,
this was a couple weeks ago, but
whatever, you missed it. It was 2 weeks ago, but
we were great.
We did so good. I did so many cartwheels, and you did that split.
Well, I did the split under your cartwheel.
It was so crazy.
And then you picked me up in your leg and flung me over. It was nice.
Your eyebrows flew off. They landed on the ceiling.
They're still there.
But yeah, Severity, SEVERITY_Stone on most things. Follow me on Insta. I know that sounds superficial, but it helps also local performers to get more bookings. Because the more followers we have, the more people notice our stuff. So, yeah, look me up. And Severity Stone on Facebook if you want to follow me. And
YouTube, everything.
I have a YouTube channel. I need to upload more things. But yeah.
Look for our amazing cartwheel performance on there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you won't find it, but look for it.
Also, follow the Serve Network on Twitch, which is where I did most of my digital drag stuff, which we didn't even talk about, but maybe next time.
Yeah.
Follow the Serve Network.
We've literally got 3 minutes if you want to talk about it.
Well, that's important because, Serve Thursday is based off of the Serve Network, which Violencia started, who's hosting the show that we're doing tomorrow. During the time of pandemic, we had to resort to digital drag things, and Violencia stuck her neck out and made this channel for us and a platform for us. I host a show called Witchcraft Wednesday, which I haven't done for a while because we've been back to the regular gigs. But if y'all have Twitch, follow it. We still do things on there. Serve Mondays is still a thing, so check that out.
Wonderful. And of course, as always, you can find me on all social media. Just go to gingerminjonline.com. Gingerminjonline.com, not gingerminj.com, because that is porn.
And that's my website.
Yes. But I mean, it's of me, but that's where the cartwheel footage is. So if you want to see that, go find us there. Thank you so much for coming on and talking to me. This really has been so much fun. Of course you can hug me. This has been amazing. I'm such a fan now. I'm going to go follow you on all social media. And for everybody out there, this is Ginger Minj signing off. And remember that not only are you a local queen, you are a hometown shero. We love you so much, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.